Congratulations, sports fans. You got the winning wager. I'm Stan the Man with the winning way plan to make you money on Monday, April 28th, 2025. All right, we got action in all the major sports today. Major League Baseball, the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs. So let's take a look at some of this. And in Major League Baseball, only 8 games today. That's a typical Monday. Not a large slate of games. But let's take a look at the totals in 3 games that we really like. At 6:35 Eastern Time, the New York Yankees at the Baltimore Orioles. We like that game to go under 9.5 runs. At 8:05 Eastern Time, a game between the Athletics at the Texas Rangers. We like that game to go over 9 runs. And in a game at 8:40 Eastern Time down in Houston between the Tigers and the Astros, we like that game to go under 8 runs. The Astros have gone under in 9 of their last 12 games, so we like that trend to continue. Once again, the Tigers and Astros under 8 runs. Okay, 2 games we really like the sides for. At 4:05 Eastern Time, the final game of the series between the Mets and the Nationals. Kind of unusual to end a series on a Monday, but this is what we've got. The Mets, we're picking the Mets. They're minus 165 on the money line. Now, the Nationals have won 2 of these 3 games in this series. Both were walk-off wins, including yesterday when the Nationals overcame an early 6-run deficit, and then they were down by a run going into the bottom of the ninth. They overcame that, scored 2 runs, and walked off with the win. But we don't think that's going to happen today. We really like the Mets on the money line, minus 165. And in another game involving a New York team, I mentioned the Yankees at the Orioles. The Yankees swept a doubleheader against the Blue Jays yesterday at Yankee Stadium. Now they're in Baltimore. We'd like the Yankees to continue their winning ways, and I think the Yankees are going to win today. They're minus 120 on the money line. And so let's go with the Mets minus the 165 and the Yankees minus the 120. All right, let's turn our attention to the NBA playoffs. 2 games on the slate, a doubleheader on TNT and True TV beginning at 7:30 Eastern Time with the game between the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Miami Heat. The Cavs have that commanding 3-0 series lead after really just bouncing the Heat out of the building the other day. And the Cavs are favored by 8.5. Personally, I think the Cavs not only win, but I think they cover that 8.5. But if that makes you a little nervous, if you think, the Heat, hey, the Heat are going to show up and, make this a game, okay, I get that. There's some things we can do with this. If you like a 4-point teaser, which is even money on most sports books, we can take the Cavs from minus 8.5 down to minus 4.5. And then we can also do something else with the other 4-point item. Let's go to that Rockets at Golden State game tonight, which has a 10 o'clock Eastern Time start, again on TNT and True TV. Okay, let's take the Rockets and the Cavs from a 203.5 point total up to 207.5 and go under. I really think that game is going to be under 203.5 anyway. And some of y'all like parlays, some of y'all really don't like parlays. I get that. But if you want to do a parlay out of that, and just do, the Cavs to cover 8.5 and the Rockets Golden State game to go under 203.5, that's fine. But either way, I do like the Cavs to win and cover the 8.5 at Miami tonight and sweep the series. And I'm ambivalent about picking a side in the Rockets-Warriors game. I know it's in San Francisco, and the Rockets are a better home team, but they're not in Houston tonight. They're in San Francisco. So, but I think that's going to be a low-scoring game. So either way, I like that under, and I really would like it in a teaser. And if you want to do a 3-item 8-point teaser, which is a minus 110 on most sports books, you can do that. You can take the Cavs from minus 8.5 to minus half a point. So basically just to win the game against the Heat. And then take either the Rockets plus 3.5 to plus 11.5, or Golden State from minus 3.5 to plus 4.5. And then the over-under up to 211.5 and go under. I know that's that's a little confusing for you. But again, the Cavs to win and cover in Miami, and the game in San Francisco between the Rockets and the Warriors to go under 203.5. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got two games there tonight. An ESPN doubleheader beginning at 7 Eastern time between Tampa Bay at Florida. Now the Tampa Bay Lightning trying to tie up the series tonight. They won at Florida the other night. I know I had the Panthers picked, and I'm going to pick the Panthers again tonight. The Panthers are the defending Stanley Cup champs for a reason, and they have a championship squad. They're going to show that part and play that part and look that part tonight. I really believe so, but it's going to be a chippy game, no question about that, because the Lightning know if they win tonight, the series is tied and they will regain home ice advantage. So because of that, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to go under 5.5 goals, and I like Florida to win this game and take a 3-1 series lead. Okay, in the other NHL Stanley Cup playoff game tonight at 9:30 Eastern Time, also on ESPN, we've got the Colorado Avalanche at the Dallas Stars. The series is tied at 2. Colorado won Saturday night in Colorado 4-0. And an interesting stat I'm going to bring up here in just a moment about that. But if I have to pick a side in this, I like Colorado to beat Dallas tonight and take a 3-2 series lead and take basically not regain home ice, but to take the home ice advantage away because they'd be going back to Colorado for Game 6. But the play I really like is the under 6.5 goals. Yes, these teams typically do score a lot of goals, but two of the games in this series have gone under. And the game Saturday night went under. We picked Colorado to win that. We picked that game to go under 6.5, and it did. And I think Colorado's going to win tonight, and I think it's going to be under 6.5. Now, here's the interesting stat about that. And I heard this from a colleague, and I had to look it up because I wanted to make sure that this was right, and it is right, that in games that Colorado has won by at least 2 goals at home, and then they follow that with a road game, and that road game directly following a victory of 2 or more goals at home, Colorado's been 6-0 to the under. So they played 6 games following a convincing home victory and then going on the road for the next game. 6 times they've done that this year, and all 6 of those road games following the convincing home victory, those road games have gone under all 6 times. So we think that trend is going to continue tonight. So let's take the Avalanche and the game to go under 6.5 goals. And if you want a prop play, I'm not necessarily big into prop plays, but how about Cale Makar to score a point tonight? If he scores a point on a power play, it's actually a plus 180. If he scores it, and then any other time it's like a plus 150. Now, Makar is not, like the leading goal scorer or something, or point scorer for Colorado. But in April, he's done most of his point scoring on the road. In fact, in this series, he had an assist in each of the first 2 games. And I think you can look for something like that tonight. Now, he's not scored a goal in a game since April 3rd, and that was a game at Columbus. But don't be surprised. Makar was getting to the net the other night. And I think this time, either with an assist or a goal, more likely an assist. But I think Makar is going to get at least a point. And, that's plus odds for you. So anyway, if you like player props, there's one to consider in that Colorado-Dallas game tonight. Well, that's it for Monday, April 28th, 2025. Congratulations for being a part of the Winning Wager. I'm Stan the Man with the Winning Way plan. Let's go out and make some money today and have fun doing it, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.